What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Thomas Gallery. And here's a question that I actually hear a lot. Why is art valuable? Hmm? Why is art so valuable? What makes a piece of art sell for a bunch of money? Like, what makes it valuable? Why is it considered an asset and not a liability? Very good question, actually. Well, there's a few things you know about art, and there's a key word that needs to be understood and really dissected. Okay? The word is intrinsic. Okay? Intrinsic. Intrinsic simply means the innate or the natural worth of something. Okay, the natural value of something. It has this particular item has a worth with it already. For example, if you want to know why diamonds are so valuable, okay, a lot of people will pay a lot of money for it, but not many people will probably know why they're valuable. A lot of people think diamonds are valuable because you see them on Hollywood or on celebrities and crowns and royal jewelry, so forth and so on. Okay, that's part of it. But the main reason why diamonds are valuable is for its intrinsic value, the properties that it comes with. Okay, let's take diamonds for example again. Diamonds are the hardest natural minerals on the planet. Okay, they're made of carbon, and diamonds are the hardest natural minerals on the planet. So you have one value. Okay, you can do a whole bunch of things with something that's like it's the hardest. Anything it's like the hardest of something. It's a value to it. Two. It's transfers of heat. Okay. If you hear the noise, that's people in construction. 3. It's its interaction with light. You can create some very powerful lasers with diamond. Okay, you do some very powerful things with lasers when it comes to diamonds. So you have also, it does not corrode. So you have something that lasts a long time. That's also durable. So you have a whole bunch of attributes for it that make people say, okay, yeah, we can use diamonds. Plus, the way it looks when it comes to jewelry. That's all right, fine. But back to art. Art has intrinsic value because art comes from the human brain. And anything that the human brain has created, other humans have deemed it valuable. Okay? A painting, for example, is the physical manifestation of a person's ideas. Whatever ideas a person has, then an idea is known as intellectual property, meaning that what your mind creates, what your intelligence creates, can be considered property, and it could benefit you as a creator of that property, intellectual property. Okay? Artwork is intellectual property, which makes it valuable. Now, along with that, you also have coupled with intellectual property, you can have the setting. Like, you can say when this piece of art was created, where it was created, the circumstances, like what's the story behind this intellectual property. Like that right there adds more value. You have the intrinsic value coupled with the intellectual property. Those are tied in together. Then you have the story behind it. Like, you could say, like, if I were to say the Mona Lisa, right? We all know the Mona Lisa is very popular. But if you want to know why it's so popular, one, because the Mona Lisa was commissioned by a famous family. And the story goes, that's what I said, the story goes, Leonardo da Vinci, one, never finished it, and two, never gave it to the family that commissioned him. And it was also said in the story that when he passed away with the painting with him. He had a painting on him when he passed away. So when you think about 500 years later, which is time, another part of the story, another part of the value, time has passed. You have a story to tell with this painting. And plus, since we already know what other stuff that Leonardo da Vinci is famous for, he's famous for his inventions, he's famous for his sketches, his other drawings and all that. Then you put his fame for his other works with this Mona Lisa, and then you tell the story behind the Mona Lisa, like, oh, this is the Mona Lisa that was found when Leonardo da Vinci died. That's like Jesus Christ with the Spear of Destiny, right? The Spear of Destiny is a valued artifact that is said to be the spear that pierced Jesus in his side. And it's in the biblical stories, when Jesus was pierced inside while he was being crucified on the cross, blood and water came out. So it was called the Spear of Destiny. However, the spear itself was held by a Roman soldier. That's it. The spear was a normal spear held by a Roman soldier who pierced Jesus. But because of Jesus' fame and Jesus' notoriety with some people, it made the spear famous. Like if someone were to say, I have a piece of wood that came from the cross that Jesus was crucified on, because of the story of the crucifixion, that piece of wood, which is normal wood, became a special type of wood, can be famous. See that? So that's normally where value comes. Value comes from the intrinsic value, okay? Its natural properties. It comes from the story. And the story encompasses time. It encompasses when, who, what, when, where, why, how, which is pretty much the story. And time. How much time has passed. And what happened during that historical time period. So if you take that back to art, if you were to say, this is Andy Warhol's sketchbook. Let's just say Andy Warhol's sketchbook, because we don't know if he had one. So let's just say somebody has Andy Warhol's one and only sketchbook, where you can see the blueprints of his Marilyn Monroe pieces and his Campbell soup pieces. Let's say you have his notes there, right? His journals. Because of Andy Warhol's fame while he was alive, and plus him passing away, and then for something else of Andy Warhol's to come up that nobody knew about, and it didn't have been verified that this actually is his. Let's say, his journal that he has about all his artwork, and it's verified that it's his. That becomes valuable because now we have a new piece of work from this person who is famous already, this famous artist. So whatever he comes up with becomes valuable. Plus you have his notes, his intellectual property. His intellectual property becomes famous, right? So that makes Andy Warhol more valuable, all right? So that is pretty much why art is valuable. You have, once again, you have the intrinsic value. You have an intrinsic value. You have the intellectual property. So intrinsic value, intellectual property, the story behind it. You have time passed. Okay? So intrinsic value, time, the story, and intellectual property. Those four things contribute to the value of a piece of art. So now you know those four things contribute to the value of art. That's why art, it will always be considered valuable. So if you as an artist create something and you go on to do bigger and better things, or you create something that is totally, revolutionary. That's a new way of thinking. That becomes valuable. Okay, so that's why art is valuable. That's why. And then you can go around and see, okay, what can be considered valuable now and in the future. You can look at your own work and see what can be considered valuable now and in the future. All right, check it out. Peace.